The check 1-3. Brother Mandingo, are you there?
Yes, Mandingo is here. It's Mandingo giving thanks and praises to the Almighty Creator, Ra, Olodumare, Onyami, Chuku, Mawalisa. Today is Sunday, the 26th of December, 2015. So we are now in the first Sunday of December. And I want to say Wajambo, which is Kiswahili. Greetings to all listeners of SFDC Radio this Sunday, the 6th of December, 2015. Yes, Silver Fox, I just want to start today's straight to the point show with the Heptones, Equal Rights. Equal Rights, written by Leroy Sibbles of the Heptones group from the album Heptones on Top, one of the best rocksteady albums ever made in Jamaican music history.
All right, we're going to play the track right now.
Equal Rights.
Every man has an equal right to live and be free, no matter what color, class, or race he may be. Oh, treat him right, Lord, and oh, treat him good. Oh, take the tip from me, don't hang him on the tree. Never give a gas another man. Every man has an equal right to live and be free, no matter what color, class, or race he may be. Oh, remember how we're all one flesh and blood. Oh, keep your brother up, don't push him in the mud. You should never give against another man. Every man has an equal right to live and be free, no matter what color, class, or race he may be. Oh, treat him right, Lord, and oh, treat him good. Oh, take a tip from me, don't hang him on a tree. He should never give against another man. Every man has an equal right to live and be free, no matter what color, class, or race he may be. Every man has an equal right.
Equal Rights, voice of the Heptones, Brother Mandingo.
Yes, you know, as Marcus Garvey said, wherever we live as Africans, we have to engage in the politics and the economics of where we live. And in Britain, where we are at the moment, it is interesting that at the moment on the BBC One Sunday Politics program, there was Heidi Alexander, the Tory MP, who in her maiden speech in October of 2015 denounced, and quite rightly so, denounced the tax credits, working tax credits, attacks that Osborne, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, wanted to visit on low-paid people, whilst at the same time giving tax breaks to his rich friends. Tax breaks to his rich friends and their companies, which of course benefits them. And I applaud her, Heidi Alexander, for supporting Jeremy Corbyn, Ken Livingstone, George Galloway and others who oppose these austerity measures, attacks being pushed onto the majority of people in Britain. This is of importance to us as Africans because we are the ones who are most exploited and most discriminated against in the field of economics, in terms of our wages, in terms of jobs, etc. It's the same situation for us as Africans in terms of housing, homelessness, etc. We are under the most pressure, not just due to class, but due to racism, due to racial discrimination. These things affect us the most. So we support strategically those English politicians and others who fight against these austerity cuts, because the austerity cuts affects us as Africans the most. And earlier, there was a program on BBC One TV, an interview with Linford Christie, who was born in Jamaica. But more on that, I just want, before I come into those two topics at depth, at length, for you to play Peter Tosh, his version of Get Up, Stand Up for Your Rights, and also the version by the Whalers featuring Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, and Bunny Whaler. Get Up, Stand Up for Your Rights.
All right, just going to locate that right now. Peter Tosh, Get Up, Stand Up.
Yes, Stand Up. Followed by Get Up, Stand Up by all three Whalers singing together.
All right, let me just, I'm not far from it. I'm locating it right
Yes,
now.
indeed. Mandingo on sfdcradio.com.
All right,
Straight to the point.
we'll play it right now. Get Up, Stand Up, and this is the Peter Tosh version.
Yes.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. You preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. You are dumpy and you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitter is gold, and half the story has never been told. So now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Brothers, stand up for your rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Sisters, don't give up the fight. I'm begging you to get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. I said don't give up the fight. Cause you know most people think a great God will come from the skies and take away every little thing and left everybody dry. But if you know what life is worth, you would look for yours right here on earth. And now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Don't make them push you around. Stand up for your rights. Come on, brothers, get up, stand up. Be brave now. don't give up the fight. I say get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Don't let them hold you down. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Sick and tired of this game of technology. Humbly asking Jesus for his mercy. We know and we understand. Almighty Jah is a living man. You fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Come on, our brothers, get up, stand up. I said, don't give up the fight.
Don't give up the fight. That's the Peter Tosh version of Get Up, Stand Up. And Brother Mandingo, you said to play the other version right now?
The Whalers, yes.
The Whalers. So we're going to go straight into that.
Peter Tosh, Bonnie Whaler, and Bob Marley. And of course, the song was written by Peter Tosh and Bob Marley.
All right.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's an all that glitter is gold. After story had never been told. So now you see the light. Hey, stand up for your right. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you would look for yours on earth. And now when you see the light, you stand up for your right. Yeah. Get up, stand up. Yeah, yeah. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Life is your right. Get up, stand up. We can't give up the fight. Stand up for your right. Lord, Lord. Get up, stand up. Keep us traveling on. Don't give up the fight. Yeah. We're sick and tired of your ism, schism, game, dine and go to heaven in Jesus' name, Lord. We know and we understand. Almighty God is a living man. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So now we see the light. What you gonna we gonna stand up for right. Yeah, so you better get up, stand up in the morning. Give it up, stand up for your right. Stand up right now. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Don't give it up, don't give it up. Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up.
Get up, stand up, Bob Marley and the Whalers. Brother Mandingo.
Yes, indeed. Get us stand up for your rights, because the first law of life is self-preservation. And we see that, as I was saying, Heidi Alexander on BBC One a few minutes ago was interviewed, and she stood her ground about denouncing the plans that Osborne had in terms of getting rid of tax working credit for the vast majority of people. And of course, Jeremy Corbyn was elected overwhelmingly because he's against the austerity measures which are designed to pressure and to further oppress the vast majority of working people. And he was forced in his budget to abolish those plans. But what he's still doing, he's still planning to do it by doing it through the universal credit system. So he has merely switched from one way of cutting to another way, from the working tax credits to doing it through the universal credit system. And this is something that we have to keep up the attack to prevent him from carrying that out also. Of course, it is not just Jeremy Corbyn and his Labour Party, but it's the people like myself and others, all others, who have brought pressure to bear on Osborne from all quarters against these working tax credits. So it's not just because of the pressure brought by Jeremy Corbyn and his Labour supporters who have caused Osborne to change tack, but it is because of pressures from Africans like myself and others who has brought those pressure to bear where this is concerned. And of course, you had some Tories, I mentioned Heidi Alexander in her maiden speech in October, who also attacked Osborne's plan. So for everyone who brought pressure to bear on Osborne, we salute them. There's also the fact of Linford Christie being interviewed from 10 to 11 this morning on BBC One TV. Yes, and he outlined, the program was titled, and I'll give that title exactly, precisely. It was on BBC One TV, so for those of you who missed it, catch it on iPlayer. You know, the program was from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock with Fern Britton meeting Linford Christie. And in the interview, it showed that Linford was born on the 2nd of April, 1960 in St. Andrew, Jamaica, and came to Britain when he was 7 in the summer of 1967 to join his parents at Loftus Road, Shepherd's Bush, West London. And it was from there that he began, living in Shepherd's Bush, that he began with his running career, his athletic career. He used to go to the church, of course, of his parents in Shepherd's Bush, the Pentecostal church, where they have that hand clapping and so on. And what was interesting in the interview was that he was saying that when he was doing well for Britain, winning medals, everything wasn't so bad. But as soon as there were allegations of him taking drugs to win, then all of a sudden the newspapers that before were regarding him as being a British athlete, he's now Jamaican. The Jamaican athlete. It reminds me of when Ben Johnson in Canada, when he was running and winning for Canada, he was a Canadian Ben Johnson. But as soon as the drug cheat thing was exposed, He was no longer Ben Johnson, the Canadian athlete. He was a Jamaican athlete, Ben Johnson.
And you know,
Yes.
Brother Mandingo,
Yes.
and that is a trait we see with Britain. Not just to do with track and field, in anything.
Everything.
Everything.
Anything.
When it is good, it's British or it's English. But when it is bad, it's a different thing. You know? And that is the hypocrisy of Britain.
The racist hypocrisy.
Yes.
Yes. When it's winning, they are British and English athletes or sports people or whatever. But as soon as there's something bad, then it's Jamaican this or Nigerian this or...
Because, you know, it was Britain who labeled Ben Johnson as Canadian, you know. Because I never know Ben, I never know Ben Johnson was, and I'm a Jamaican.
Was Jamaican,
and
yes,
I never
yes.
know Ben Johnson was Jamaican until then.
And yes, exactly. Exactly. You know. And one of the things that Linford got very upset about, you know, he was asked by Fern Britton about what he thought about problems in athletics, you know. And he didn't spell it out. He said he just got fed up of the constant attacks and so on, you know. But it's racism that he's talking about, and he should have just said plainly racism instead of beating around the bush, you know. He said it indirectly, you know, that, you know, he's fed up of the constant attacks and he knows where it is coming from.
Definitely. And,
yes.
You know, Brother Mandingo.
This is one of the things that I don't like.
And
just call it like it is.
Call it like it is. Yes.
Say it's racism. Don't you avoid using the word. It's racism. And we all know. And
Brother Mandingo, me blame them. Me blame him in our way too, you know, because you know when I used to travel the boxing circuit as a professional fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, I learned my boxing in England, and I'm licensed by the British Boxing Board. But I've never covered up my Jamaican side. You understand?
Identity, yes.
Never. And what happened with a lot of these athletes, they also cover their Jamaican side. And when it go wrong, them ball out too. You see what I say? And they should have, him should not suppress that side of him from day one.
Precisely. Because what happened to, what I found very interesting is that he's being discriminated against because he's an African from Jamaica. And he was nearly expelled from the games when once he covered himself with the British flag. Because according to the rules, you're not supposed to cover yourself with the flag. You know what I'm saying? At the time. And he didn't know at the time that, you know, it was an offense. You know, he didn't know at the time. Since then, of course, you have people covering themselves with the flag. But until then, when he did it. So, he was lucky to get off that.
But also...
But what happened, hold on, don't forget your point. But what he was saying on the program this morning, very interesting, is that he never saw any problem because he's English, he's British. Nonsense! Here he was born the 2nd of April, 1916, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Came here when he was 7. How the hell could he be British? He's Jamaican, and there's nothing that is going to change the fact that he's both African, which is his race, and he's both Jamaican because he was born in Jamaica. 2 things, his race and where he was born. He cannot change that. Yes, he's running for Britain. That's also a fact. But what you should say is that you are proud to be an African, which is true, that's a race. You're proud to be a Jamaican because that's where you were born,
Representing.
where your parents were born. And okay, you're now living in Britain from you were 7.
And representing.
You're running for Britain. And okay, and that you are proud that you are representing Britain. You don't have to humiliate yourself by saying and talking nonsense about you're English, you're British. So what about the fact that you are Jamaican? You were born in Jamaica.
And that is what I'm saying. They
Yes, and this
suppress.
is the type of thing that I don't like precisely. It reminds me of Linton Kwesi Johnson, who came here when he was about 13 or 14 from Clarendon, Jamaica. Linton Kwesi Johnson, the dub poet, who had written excellent dub poetry and so on. But I remember years ago, as a Marxist, he was saying that he's British. Nonsense. Linton is an African from Jamaica, from Clarendon, Jamaica. There's no way that he's British. But Linton said that he's British, and that's nonsense, absolute rubbish. It's a lie. He's an African from Jamaica, and that cannot change. That cannot change. And it also reminds me of this guy, Lenny Henry. He's an African from Britain. His parents are Africans from Jamaica. He was born here. But I noticed when he was married to the English actress, Dawn French, he never used to talk about the racism in the acting world. But since Dawn and him, they divorced, all of a sudden, he's talking about racism in the acting world. When things were going fine for him, because he had Dawn, his English wife, to be able to help him out in terms of getting jobs, connections, and so on. He never had anything to say about the racism that other Africans in the acting world encountered. But when he was no longer with Dawn and feeling the pinch of the racism more, then he's talking about it. And I have seen now where he has been knighted by the Queen, that he is now a so-called knight. Well, I don't respect Lenny Henry as any person, as any, he's knighted for them, he goes to show. But the point that I'm making is that these people, whenever they are okay, you don't hear them talking. But whenever they are falling victim more to racism, then you hear them bawling out about racism. And the thing about it is that they should have come out on behalf of their own people, our own African people, when they were in the limelight.
But
this is why I respect Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali is a typical example of being in the limelight, and he could have sold out, but he fought for his people. And that's a fact.
And one of the next thing, which at some stage me gonna talk about this even in more depth, is a lot of these black people, African, just because they're in mixed relationship, they don't want to talk about the racism, and they make it seems as if everything is all right, and it's only when there's a divorce or there's a split, them free for talk now,
True. Well, I'll tell you something. Let's talk about it now.
Yes.
We're not dealing. No, we're dealing with it right now.
No, because even here on SFD,
we're dealing with it right now.
I remember there are black speakers who pass through the radio station, yes? And we used to on the Circus Genesis show, and a lot of them, they don't want to talk the things the way it is. And you find out even some of the Rastaman them because they got white wives or they're in mixed relationships.
Because they have European.
Yes.
This is one of the hypocritical things, that you have people calling themselves Rastas, as men, but their wives, their common law wives, whatever, are not African. Yet they're talking about African this and that, this and black beauty and but they don't want to have an African woman as their wife or the mother of their children. These are rascals. These are not Rastas, because Rastafari, which is the pre-coronation name of Haile Selassie, was an African, is an African, and his wife, Empress Menen, was an African, is an African. So if you're following Haile Selassie as Rastafari, you're supposed to have an African wife. So it shows the hypocrisy. And this is why a lot of our sisters say, look at these dreadlocks are these so-called Rastas talking about they are Rastas. But they don't have African women. And they don't want African women. But they have women and have these mixed race children with these women. And cause a lot of confusion within our African society, because you know this too, Silver Fox and other listeners. Europeans do not allow mixed race children to dictate and to control in their European societies, you know. They do not. There was a case, I'll tell you this. There is a youth, he's in his 20s now, and he's mixed race. Listen to this carefully. He's mixed race. His father is African, mother European, in Britain here. And he went and had a daughter with an English girl in London. And the girl's parents were totally against the relationship because they didn't want their daughter to have any children and to be with someone who was not English. You know, direct racist thing. And he was trying to speak to the girl's mother and saying, you know, look, you shouldn't be against me, not because I am mixed race, and so on. And said to the girl, and said to the grandmother that his mother is English just like her. And you know what the mother-in-law said to him? Your mother is English, but you are not English. You're a zebra. Oh. You know a zebra has black and white stripes? You know a zebra?
Yes, definitely, yes.
Right. And this was what the grandmother said to him, that yes, your mother is English, but you are not English. You're a bloody zebra. Because you're neither African or European. This was what she said to him. This is the kind of situation.
You know, Brother Mandingo, early part of my boxing career, you know, I was sat down, you know. This I haven't, me not talk about it, I never spoken about it before because me never see it as nothing big to talk about. But I was,
until now.
Yes, I was sat down and spoken to and told that Silver Fox, you have talent, you know. But to make it, you know, you have to go marry a white woman, you know. If I even go to Italy, them say, you know, if I even go to Italy and go marry the Italian white woman, I'm say, I'm look on the person, you know, I'm say, you know something? I rather fail as a boxer. But me nah go do that. Any woman me a married have to be a black woman. No, me nah judge a man who married who them want married, but when me a say, you can't use that against me as to, if I don't do that, me nah go be successful at what I want to be.
But
you
let
understand?
me tell you something. Let me tell you something, my brother. What they said to you is based on the reality of the racism that is practiced.
Yes.
Listen to me carefully. If you notice, take for example on TV programs, you notice that almost all the African women who you see on TV as presenters or are called on TV to be interviewed and have high profile jobs, that their husbands are European. Once their husbands are African, they are discriminated against. They don't get the promotions and the positions.
And you know, Brother Mandingo,
it's
true. And it hurt me,
yes, it is deliberate, because the message is being sent to African women that if you do not have a European as your husband or your partner, then you will not be promoted. It's a fact.
Yes, and
it's a racist fact.
And if you look
and vice versa.
And if you look,
this is why most of the African footballers, their partners are European women for the very same reason. It's true.
Yes, runners.
Yet runners. Listen. It is in sports, politics, in everything. Rarely, take for example Ian Wright. You remember the footballer? You remember?
Yes, yes.
His wife was African, you know.
Me know that.
And not only that, you would never know that Ian Wright, who was born in London, you would never know that his parents are Africans from Jamaica. You notice Ian Wright, he doesn't talk about the fact that his parents are from Jamaica.
Yes. Well, I did know that, Brother Mandingo.
And many of them, they hide where their parents are from. And then, who is Ian Wright's current wife now? It's a European. It's deliberate. It's not accidental. It's not accidental that the vast majority of African men and women who achieve quote-unquote so-called success in their field of endeavor, in their profession, they have been forced, because of how the racism operates in British society, to have a European either as a husband or as a wife. And this is something that I am totally and absolutely against, just like Marcus Garvey.
Against, and it hurt me. I tell you the truth.
Yes.
Because, what they tend to do is anything they see that is good, they control. And it hurt me when I see these great athletes, when they're supposed to,
Frank Bruno is a typical example.
Spread back the wealth amongst their own, them bring it somewhere else. And you see what happened to,
said that.
And you see what happened to people like Chris Eubanks and them Bruno.
Frank Bruno, yes.
Once the limelight gone, left them.
And the money is gone. Yes.
Well, the money not gone yet, the money
is gone. The money has been but the money has been taken by their partners.
Yes. So what them do? Them divorce and take the money.
And they divorce and take the money. Yes.
And right now, Frank Bruno, where Frank Bruno go through right now, may I tell you, because I know some of the story personally,
No, but remember, when Frank Bruno thought he was on top, he never used to socialize in the African community, And again, he's an example of his parents are Africans from Jamaica. but he never used to socialize in the African community when he was out. And this is why I respect Lennox Lewis as one of the very few Africans
Me I tell you.
who fame and popularity and married and have children with an African.
Me I tell you.
And if you notice,
And always talk about Jamaica.
yes, and they don't like that. And you notice, they have never liked Lennox Lewis because of that, you know. Lennox Lewis is an African born in Britain of parents from Jamaica, Africans from Jamaica. But he has always been loyal to Jamaica. He lives in Jamaica.
And Brother Mandingo.
But they don't give him publicity.
Brother Mandingo.
They try to smear him.
All right, I was just going to say that because he didn't conform to their thing. They're trying to say that the man is homosexual and this and that.
All kind of things. All kind of things. And even if he were homosexual, the thing about it is that he has remained loyal to his African race.
Loyal.
And this is what they do not like. Because it's from one important point to another important point. Let me tell you this. A lot of people are not aware that in the world of homosexuality and lesbianism, that Africans who are homosexuals and Africans who are lesbians still suffer vicious racism from Europeans who are homosexuals and lesbians just like themselves. They still suffer from racism from European homosexuals and European lesbians. So when you hear them talking about racism and discrimination, Africans who are homosexuals and lesbians suffer racism from European homosexuals. Don't talk about this. They pretend as if Africans like myself who are against the practice of homosexuals object to what they do. And they never talk about the racism that they encounter from their European homosexual and lesbian people. They don't talk about that. They are real Uncle Toms. And that is the reality. And this is why you have someone like Barack Obama, who long before he was a president, he was pushing and promoting homosexuality. Barack Obama, long from before he was president, and he is a person who went to Jamaica not too long ago and was trying to promote. But the majority of Africans in Jamaica, we are the majority of the populations, rejected him for having the nerve and the audacity to do that. Africans who are being murdered, etc. He doesn't talk about that. You know? I'm telling you.
and you see, when we go say about that subject now, back onto Frank Bruno, that
yes.
should be an example that a lot of these black African stars should look upon and note, because you know we used to see Frank Bruno.
Africans, not black Africans. You mean Africans?
Africans. Thanks for the correction. We used to see Frank Bruno all over the TV with his white wife, European wife, and you would think there is nothing like love. You know, the way these two. And when things started to go wrong, this woman just take away everything and start talk about, oh, the man a battery man. Enough of the things I'm like. Bruno is a gentle giant.
Yes, and the thing about it is that he suffered from, and now he has had to be having mental, psychiatric.
No, man, he's proper mentally ill right now.
Yes. But he wasn't like that originally.
Never. Bruno was a jolly person. Okay.
Yes,
you know.
Yes. But what happened, you see? What has caused that? He believed so much and pretended to be colorblind that when the reality hit him, he couldn't believe that this individual who he made rich by his boxing talent and who has children for him. And it goes to show, it doesn't matter how many children they have for you. A racist is a racist. I have always known, for example, that whenever arguments occur between Africans and their European partners, no matter how many children they have, in front of the children, not just behind, in front of the children, the European partner, whether they're male or female, start to abuse the other partner. It's a quarrel, you know. Calling them you black bastard. Yes. This is a fact. As soon as there's an argument, the black bastard words comes out. The racist epithets come out.
You know, Brother Mandingo, I used to teach this European guy from Holland table tennis, yeah? And I taught him very well. He become very good, exceptional, you know, because it's one of the sports that I'm very good at. And I'm currently playing in the league at the moment and out to start traveling the UK again, taking part in tournaments, right? And I taught this guy, a very rich guy, you know. When I say rich, you know, the guy is wealthy, millionaire. And I taught him, and me and him became very close. And Brother Mandingo, you would think that because him having money, it could control me. The guy made a comment against Tiger Woods, right? And the comment he made was a racist comment. And I was very sensitive to that. You know, say I straighten him out, me thump him. Alright, Brother Mandingo is not there, so we're gonna play a track and we're gonna get right back to this conversation that we were taking part in. I will further explain what we were talking about.
Black woman, good black woman, like me you struggled long. You trod one of life's roughest roads with the heaviest load. To be someone to belong, but you're nearing your mile and a half furlong. Don't give up now, just pray for strength now. For you I dedicate my song. La 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 la. The other say once in the plantation, lashes to a skin. On auction blocks we were chained and cold, and of merchandise. Commonly abused and war we were refused, and thrown in the garbage bins. But no need for that now. Free yourself of that now, and help me sing my song. La 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 la.
All right, Brother Mandingo. Brother Mandingo. Once again, we'll tend to, let me just test the connection once again. Brother Mandingo. Alright, something gone wrong there, so seems like the phone switch off. So we're going to continue with this track. Black Woman, Judy Mowat.
Not that which is wrong. I heard Rachel mourning for her children when Herod and Pharaoh took their little heads. But like Mary and like Joseph, the mother of Moses too, overcame his evil devices. I dedicate my song for you. La 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 Black woman, black woman, know you've struggled long. I feel your affliction. You are dedicate my song. La 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 la
That was Judy Mowat, Black Woman. Brother Mandingo, are you there?
Yes, she did that in the 1970s. Judy Mowat, Black Woman. Brilliant, brilliant song. And I would like you to play two songs after this. It's still Black Woman by Sharon Tucker and Judy Mowat and another sister. Sharon Tucker. You can find that, you will find that Sharon Tucker and Judy Mowat. Same Black Woman was done recently, so sometime earlier this year. I'd like you to play that version, and then I want you to follow that with a Little Roy song called Don't Cross the Nation. Don't Cross the Nation.
All right. May I tell you, we seems to be having some problems with the phone, so we're going to link up back again with Brother Mandingo, and at the same time, we're going to search for that track, Sharon Tucker and Judy Mowat. So let me try get back in touch with Brother Mandingo. And you know what I was explaining earlier is about a table tennis player, a guy from Holland that I used to teach table tennis. And you know, I've been teaching him for some time. He started basically from nothing, where he became very, very competitive. He became very good. And while teaching him, I started to discover the racist side of him, where he made comments about a black, or was what Brother Mandingo would say, an African athlete. And I didn't take too kindly to that, and I punched him in his mouth. And obviously, the friendship didn't stop there, so, but the closeness was never there again, because obviously me punching him in his mouth mean that him can't trust me. And at the same time, I realize that this brother is racist. So, we kind of cut the closeness, and we eventually cut the friendship there and then because I couldn't work with that. And in this world right now, we see where a lot of the black stars, black footballers, or should I say African footballers, whatever sport, they tend not to want to marry their own. And it's not a good look. It's not a good look for African men, and it's not a good look for African ladies. To see that these guys who make it in life, they don't want to have nothing to do with their own kind. So it's kind of like a put down. Once these guys start to make money, or maybe it was inbred in them from a younger age, because I was told that at a young age that to make it as a boxer, I need to marry a white female, either in this country or go to Italy and do that. And my answer to that was no, never. I rather fail than do something like that, because not that I am a racist, but I believe in my own kind. Cause nothing ain't wrong, with even a white man believing a female own kind, because that's what they do. But you have to defend your own people. And I think it is, we should all look out for our race, the perseverance of our race. That's what I say. So, I just saw it there. So right now we're going to play this tune here, African by Peter Tosh.
Come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind your nationality, you have got the identity of an African. Cause if you come from Clarendon, and if you come from Portland, and if you come from Westmoreland, you're an African. So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind your nationality, I've got the identity of an African. Cause if you come from Trinidad, and if you come from Nassau, and if you come from Cuba, you're an African. So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind your complexion, there is no rejection, you're an African. Cause if your flexion high, if your flexion low, and if your flexion in between, you're an African. So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind denomination, that is only segregation. You're an African. Cause if you go to the Catholic, and if you go to the Methodist, and if you go to the Church of God, you're an African. So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African.
No matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. That's Peter Tosh. Brother Mandingo.
Yes, indeed. Peter Tosh, my favorite whaler. And as I said, I would like you to play Sharon Tucker, Black Woman. There's a song that she did in earlier this year, Black Woman. And she has Judy Moore, the original singer-songwriter, in it with her. And I'd also want you to play Little Roy, Don't Cross the Nation. Don't Cross the Nation, the title of the Little Roy song, is from a Jamaican African saying, an African Jamaican saying that is about the Marcus Garvey saying that Africans must marry Africans, that Africans should not marry non-Africans, that Africans should marry Africans and have children with Africans to continue the African race. This is what it is. So the meaning is don't cross the nation, meaning don't go outside your African nation for a partner when you are going to have children. You know, your partner must be an African. As simple as that. And what we're talking about, as I have said before, and I'm saying it again, is that in almost every case, whenever you see some African male or female in Britain who has a prominent job or some prominent role, is that almost inevitably their partner is European, is English. And it is a message to say that if you want to get ahead, you must not have an African as a husband or an African as a wife. You must have a European, whether English or otherwise, as your wife or husband. It's a fact. It's a reality. This is why most of the footballers and, as I have said, people in the media world, when you look at who are their partners, they are Europeans. This is how they get ahead, so-called,
and
by giving head.
And while you were cut off, Brother Manding, I was explaining that I was teaching this multimillionaire guy table tennis.
Yes.
And this guy had a lot of money, and, you know, he thought that his money could control me. And while I was teaching him, he made a racist comment towards Tiger Woods. And it was in the same time when Tiger Woods was saying he's neither black nor white. But because I am sensitive to the racial comment,
yes,
I thump him straight in my mouth, and it caused him not to trust me anymore. Said I'm violent, and but I never business about his money.
Yes, he thought that because he had money, he could make racist comments to you.
Yes,
insult you. Yes, and you would just take it just like that.
Yes. And, you know, so I wasn't standing for that, like what a lot of the brothers and sisters them would do, you know.
Yes, because some of them, they would have just accepted it because he was paying them. But but when you punched him, did he try to bring any charges against you?
You know, him never bring no charges against me, but him just said one thing to me that, boy, me can't trust you again, you know. That means that the closeness now going to be there again.
Yes, but what happens is he didn't want to bring it to the courts because then the racism would have come out in the courts, and he didn't want that, you know.
Definitely.
Yes, but the thing is that he thought that because he had so much money that you would just accept is racism. But of course, you did the right thing by telling him to go to hell, by punching him. But so many of our people would have accepted what he did. You and I know, you have some of our people, they accept racism from these people. And talking about that, after you play these songs, we'll have to talk about what happened about 7 o'clock yesterday in East London, Leytonstone Tube Station, where some guy stabbed 3 people. One of the 3 people he stabbed was stabbed seriously, but they said it's not life-threatening. And he said that he's doing it for Cameron bombing Syria. And of course in San Bernardino in California, where a couple shot and killed 14 people at a community center. One of the 14 was an African woman also, you know. And again, this couple did it because of U.S. bombings in Syria. And we must say congratulations to Jeremy Corbyn and the rest of the Labour Party for winning in Manchester recently, because they were hoping that Jeremy Corbyn, the MP was running because Michael Meacher had died, would have lost. But the thing about it is that of the shadow cabinet, about the majority of Jeremy Corbyn's cabinet voted with him against the bombing in Syria. The majority. And overall, it's 66 Labour MPs who voted traitorously with the Tories.
You know something, Brother Mandingo?
Syria, yes.
I don't understand that or overstand it. How can you, in a party, and
yes,
when it comes to important, we can't talk about some simple little matters that's not going to
yes,
be detrimental to either way you vote. Because sometimes you have to vote against certain things that is
yes,
not
yes,
right,
yes,
that your party
yes,
is trying to
yes,
partake in. But something as
yes,
important as this, how can you be in a party and you know that many things are at stake and you vote against
the leader,
your leader?
Exactly. It shows your truth. And now they are fretting and saying that people are abusing them and on Facebook and elsewhere, and people are threatening and making moves to have them deselected. But of course they should be deselected, because they should go and join the Tory party officially, because they voted and supported the Tories because they are Tories. They do not belong in the Labour Party. They are Blairites, because New Labour are simply Tories in disguise. Those 66 Labour MPs, Hilary Benn, his father Tony Benn, is turning in his grave now. They should join the Tory party, because they are only in the Labour Party to undermine the Labour Party. And it is because of people like them why the Labour Party has lost. Because with the battle, with the elections that Ed Miliband had, the reason why the Labour Party lost in the way that they lost is because you had these Tories within the Labour Party that caused mixed messages to be sent out to the electorate. So people could rightfully see that they are not to be trusted. Because look at Elizabeth Harman. What did she do? She, in taking over after Ed Miliband, was supporting the austerity measures of the Tories. These people are Tories. They should lose their seats because the majority of their constituents were against the bombing and they voted for the bombing. And they should come out of the Labour Party and join the Tory party officially.
And you know,
they are Tories.
When they're saying that It's one of the best speech ever made. I thought that speech was very embarrassing.
It's more than embarrassing. It's a traitorous speech. It's a speech of a traitor to his party, to the party, not his party, to the party and to the leader of the Labour Party. Because he's a Tory, Hillary Benn. Remember, Hillary Benn has always been opposed to the politics of his father, Tony Benn. Always. He's a Tory, Hillary Benn. He's despicable. Nothing to cheer about. He's a Tory agent working within the Labour Party to destroy the Labour Party, who is fighting to maintain the NHS and the National Health Service, the National Health Service, the NHS, and the welfare state. We do not want people like Hillary Benn and others like that, and Tom Watson. He should be removed. They must join the Tory party because they are Tories. And I would like you to play, as I said, Black Woman by Sharon Tucker and Judy Mowat, and also Don't Cross the Nation by Little Roy.
From California to Ghana, from Kingston to Addis Ababa, Sharon, Judy, and Italy and Rise the Black Woman Ghana.
Black woman.
Black woman, ooh, black woman, like me you struggled long. You've trod one of life's roughest road. You've lived the heaviest load. To be someone to belong, you're nearing your mile and a half furlong. Don't give up, just pray for strength. To you I dedicate my song.
Black woman. Black woman.
We are the set ones in the plantation with lashes to a skin. On auction blocks we were chained and cold, band of merchandise. Carnally abused, but warned we were refused, thrown in the garbage bin. No need for that now. Free yourself of that now. Help me sing my song.
Black woman. Black woman.
You're like the work of art, you're like the ocean. Your womb is a perfect mystery, giving birth to mine. You're like the trees that's planted in the garden of Eden. You're the Nile Valley that feed man. You gave birth to the sunrise to reflect the glow in the east. Oh yes, black woman full of power, yeah. Anything you want, you pick over. You are me mother and me sister, best friend, now you me treasure. Me copyright the black woman banner.
When you're fighting, stand up for the right thing, not that which is wrong.
Rachel mourning for her children, while Herod and Sarah took their little heads.
But like Mary and like Joseph, the mother of Moses too, overcame men's evil devices.
I dedicate my song to you.
I'm a a man who woman alone and sing this song. You're a black
Black woman.
All right. Brother Mandingo.
Yes, Sharon Tucker. And as I said, special request for Sharon Tucker, Jody Mowat, and also Halima. And, you know, recently in Jamaica, I've seen some YouTube reports of African workers in Jamaica who are working on building the highway in Jamaica, protesting against the robbery by the Chinese contractors who have been paying them about half of what they are supposed to get. Yes, it's on YouTube. African Jamaican workers who are building the highway in Jamaica. It's not the Chinese who are building any highway in Jamaica. It's the African Jamaican workers who are building the highway in Jamaica. And they have had to be striking against the Chinese because they have found out that the Chinese contractors in Jamaica have been paying them about half of what they are supposed to get. Yes, check it out on YouTube. And the African Jamaican workers are also denouncing Portia Simpson and saying, what is she doing? Why is she allowing the Chinese in Jamaica to be getting away with exploiting African Jamaican workers? So check that out on YouTube, people, for real. So right now, after playing Little Roy, Don't Cross the Nation, I want you to play my production, General Echo, African National Heroes, and Sugar Minot, Every Little Thing. Sugar Minot. So Don't Cross the Nation by Little Roy, followed by African National Heroes by General Echo, followed by Every Little Thing by Sugar Minot. The last two produced by the Mandingo for my Mandingo label.
Don't cross the nation, don't cross the nation. We are all Africans, don't cross the nation. We are said to be Negroes.
All right.
Nothing
Let
about
me just.
we are said to
Yes, Brother Mandingo.
Cross the Nation by, I said play that one from the top to the very last drop. Little Roy, Don't Cross the Nation. A message coming from old African Jamaican saying that Africans should not marry and have children with non-Africans. The Marcus Garvey rule.
All right, so we're going to play that again from the top to the very last drop.
Last drop. Little Roy, Don't Cross the Nation.
don't cross the nation, don't cross the nation. We are all Africans, don't cross the nation. We are said to be Negroes, but nothing no goes so. We are said to be Negroes, but nothing no goes so. Don't cross the nation, don't cross the nation. We are all Africans, don't cross the nation. caption and flash. But you're the ones that get a blowing light. Even the ones that straighten their heel find their brother to make a deal. Don't cross the nation. Don't cross the nation. We are
All right, don't cross the nation. Brother Mandingo.
Yes.
We got Andrew Robinson from based in Switzerland who want to say something live on here.
His name.
Andrew Robinson, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, folks.
You can say what you want to say. Mandingo is online and he can hear you.
Greetings, Mandingo. All gone.
Yes, greetings, Andrew.
I can hear your voice way in the background. I think you need to be a little bit more volumed. Yeah. About the racist topic that you and Fox are talking about, I've experienced that, and living in Europe, I also see this in many accounts where the refugees crisis that is created in Africa so that the people come to Europe, it's actually a planned event. Because just for example, Germany, and I'm saying these things are reported by the electronic media. There are facts which one can research for themselves. Germany alone needs 50,000 low-paid workers every year, right? Because they're one of the top economy, and in order to sustain their economy, what they do is try to put their regular workforce on pension, so they do not get
pension. Yes.
Yeah, so they do not get the regular pay. So you'll find a young person is pensioned in Germany and luxurious life because it is subsidized by the cheap labor that they're getting out of Africa.
Yes,
right?
Yes, indeed. And even before that, this is why they used to have the Turks coming in and working in Germany from many years ago, and they call them guest workers.
Yes,
workers.
Exactly.
Yes. But the term guest workers is a euphemism for low-paid workers.
Of course.
So who has succeeded the Turks? Not succeeded, but joined the Turks in this exploitation to subsidize German workers are now the African migrants from Mother Africa. But they were complaining about African migrants fleeing Africa to come to Europe. The reason why Africans are fleeing Africa to come to Europe, it is because of what Europeans have done in robbing the resources of Africa to underdevelop Africa. As anyone reading, for example, how Europe underdeveloped Africa by Walter Rodney, the African from Guyana, or reading Chancellor Williams' The Destruction of Black Civilization,
that's a stated fact.
is that Africans are fleeing because Europeans have come to Africa, stole our resources, they are still stealing our resources, and have used the wealth from our resources to make Europe wealthy. So our people, whether they are in Africa, the Caribbean, who have come to Britain and other places in Europe, we have merely come to where they have brought the wealth that they have stolen from our countries.
That's also
Mandingo. To get back what they have stolen from us, because the wealth of Africa and the wealth in the Caribbean was not used to benefit the people in Africa and in the Caribbean. Because if the wealth of Africa, which is the richest continent on the planet, was used for the benefit of Africans in Africa, and if the wealth in the Caribbean was used for the benefit of the Africans who created the wealth in the Caribbean, Africa and the Caribbean would have the high standard of living on planet Earth.
Okay, Mandingo,
High standard
Mandingo.
of living.
Fox. Mandingo is correct about that. But what can be added to that after many years of taking the resources out of the motherland and bringing it into the Western civilization? What they continue to do.
Speak a bit louder, my brother.
Huh?
Can you just speak a bit louder? Yeah.
No, I'm saying what you said before about taking the resources out of Africa. That's factually stated. But what they're doing in addition to that, today, after doing all that evil deeds, what they're doing today is deliberately causing problems within the African continent, right? Because they have to run an economy which is too expensive for their own people. And that's why I mentioned before, they are redundanting their own people. So they take the resources and go into Caribbean islands and live a luxurious life. And they're bringing in the migrants, which working for half or less than what their citizens would work for. So in that sense, what happened in the Caribbean and the rest of Africa is that there's a deliberate move by Brussels, right? There's a deliberate move by Brussels to do these things. The people meet there and they organize how to overturn an economy, how to get the people leaving the country to come to Europe for them to get cheap work labor. Like you guys mentioned before, the footballers, most of the footballers that are in Europe, right? A very high percentage of them came through the refugee system, but they were sorted out. You have a lot of them who are, say for example, Italy. Italy produced the most processed tomato sauce on the face of the planet. And what they do is bring in the black Africans, to tend the fields.
The Africans, yes. Africans, the black Africans, yes.
To tend the tomato fields. And it is the living standard is deplorable. Yes. We know it is no bed of roses for our people who leave from Africa, just like our people left from the Caribbean, who did the jobs, the hard, dirty jobs that the European did not want to do. And of course, our people are always the last to be hired and the first to be fired. This is a continuing reality of that situation. And of course, they also use this factor of our African people fleeing because of problems that they, the European imperialists, have created in Africa to also stoke the flames of racism against African people. And that's the reality, But it's nice hearing from you there in Switzerland, Andrew, And Yeah, man. Always enjoy listening to your show, my brother.
Okay, my brother. So you just keep on being strong and keep on spreading the word and the message, because we simply have to do what we have to do. Because they say those who know better must do
These
better.
are some information that majority of the Africans do not know, or even our Jamaican brothers. They have no clue as to what's going on.
That is which is why I do programs like this, because as Marcus Garvey said, we have to educate and inform our people. Because if when people are ignorant of what is going on, that is when they are most vulnerable, because this is how they are manipulated and used, not only against themselves as individuals, but against each other as a people. So we have to constantly expose the lies of the racist imperialists from Europe with their divide and rule tactics.
Mandingo.
Yes, my brother.
Can I refer one of my tracks, one of my favorite tracks to you?
Yes.
The favorite track of mine that's on my album is entitled Nation Open Your Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
By Andrew Robinson.
Okay. And by Andrew Robinson.
Yeah, Nation Open Your Eyes.
Nation?
Open Your Eyes.
Nation Open Your Eyes. Okay. Silver Fox?
Yes.
If do you have that track?
I should have. Let me just.
Okay, but
no, I do have it. I'm just want to know. I'm just checking to see if I've got it right here on this particular laptop. But it's a powerful track. I play it get regular airplay right here on SFDC radio.
Okay, well, what I'll say is that if you're able to find it within this program, play it. But if not,
I will find it. I've got it. Yeah.
Another time. But in the meantime, remember to play the tracks that I mentioned.
Yes. So the next track I'm going to be playing is General Echo. African National Hero. And that's
followed by Sugar Mine at Every Little Thing. And again, take care, Brother Andrew there in Switzerland. Okay?
Send you to my brother.
So we're gonna play that track by Andrew Robinson after we play your two tracks.
Yeah, my two tracks.
Selected
no
tracks. So right now we're gonna play this African National Heroes General Echo.
Okay, Brother Andrew.
Yeah, take it easy, Mandingo.
All the best. Right. Take care.
God was our hero special. It harder than metal. A crucial style. I said that who was the man? Marcus Garvey, a national hero. Who was the man? Paul Boger, a national hero. Who was the man? George William Gardner, a national hero. They used to fight for black liberation, international struggle. So give me African love. Say, give me African love. Say who was the man them call Sam Sharp, a national hero. Who was the man them call Kojo, a national hero. But what about the sister them call Nani, a national hero. They used to fight for equal rights and justice to be a national hero. That is what we must all practice to be a national hero. So give me African love. I will be saying, give me African love. You better live right, you better live good. You better live good like you know you should. Cause in a time like this I say no bother with no wrong. In a time like this we have to stand up strong. Who was the man called Malcolm X, a national hero? Who was the man Martin Luther King, a national hero? Who was the man called Lumumba, a national hero? Them used to fight for black liberation. Them used to fight black liberation. It's a black man redemption. God is a black man redemption. Talking about the man called Marcus. Him never ever cuss, him never make no fuss. Never ever cuss, him never make no fuss. Anything him forecast said it come to pass. Anything him forecast said it come to pass.
Alright, that was General Echo, African National Heroes.
Yes. The song that inspired Flip Fraser to do that play Black Heroes in the Hall of Fame in 1987. And I want to say special request to my brethren who was one of those who worked to organize the Black Heroes in the Hall of Fame, the man Wenti Wadada. Yes, indeed. So now Sugar Mine at every little thing.
Alright, right there we say every little thing, Sugar Minot.
Every little thing you run to Babylon. Whoa, wicked man. Every little thing you run to Babylon. Every little thing you run to wicked man. Every little thing you run to Babylon. Every little thing you run to wicked man. A little herb a smoke, you run to Babylon. A little bad word cuss, you run to wicked man. But what you gonna do when Babylon help you? What are you gonna say when Babylon turn against you one day? There's got to be a reaction to all of your action. The table's gonna turn on you. Oh well, and you know that is true because every little thing you run to Babylon. Every little thing, every little thing. Every little thing you run to wicked man. Every little thing you gonna stay strong. Every little thing you gonna stay strong. Every little thing you gonna put out. Every little thing you gonna put out. But what you gonna do when the station got you? What are you gonna say when your honor can't help you one day? There got to be a reaction to all of your action. The table's gonna turn on you. Oh well, and you know that it's true because every little thing you run to Babylon. Every little thing, every little thing you run to Babylon. Everything. You should have run to Jah. Why didn't you? You should have run to Jah. Every little thing you run to Babylon. Every little thing you run to wicked man. Why didn't you run to Jah? Why didn't you run to Jah?
Every little thing you run to Babylon, every little thing you run to wicked man. I mean, I tell you, sometime our own people, you know, more time them see a little thing a go on, or, you know, as the man say, you run to Babylon, you run to wicked man for bring down your own, and it's a sad state of affair. Brother Mandingo.
Well, that's a reality, you know, because who the cap fits, let them wear it, because it applies to those who are guilty of that, because, of course, everyone is not like that. So who the cap fits, wear it. In everything, you always have people who are traitors and people who are informers. So that's the reality of life. The important thing is that you don't let them overcome you, but you overcome them. It's as simple as that, you know.
Definitely.
It's part and parcel of life, a reality. Nothing to get paranoid about. Is something that you must just be on the guard for, so that you are able to overcome people like that and don't allow them to overcome you. That is the message. A message to be always be on your guard so that you are not defeated. You know? because reminder is always important to prevent disaster by the actions of informers, enemies, etc.
And you find them in all races.
Yes, So, that's why I'm saying this is part and parcel of life. It's just one of the lessons that you learn and you know what you have to do. So now you say you have the Andrew Robinson song called Open Your Eyes, Nation.
Nation, open your eyes.
Nation, open your eyes.
All right, let me load him up now, and I found it, so we're gonna play that track right now. Nations, open your eyes, and that's by Andrew Robinson, and that's a speaker, an artist we just had all the way. He's a Jamaican, he's an African, based in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
Nations, open up your eyes and see who are your true enemies. It's time you wake up to reality. There's only one way to stop the brutality. Let them show you some sincerity. When they stop the psychological war in other societies, they say they're coming in the name of peace. Look on the other side, they're two-faces thieves. They make you fight against each other just to show the world how you're killing your brothers. This goes on and on for so many years. It's time you realize who really cares. It's time you make a change in your lives, uplifting your countries, your children and your wives. Do for your neighbors just the same. Let them know, one step at a time, together they will grow. It's time you make a change in your lives, uplifting your countries, your children and your wives. Do for your neighbors just the same. Let them know, one step at a time, together they will grow. Every nation needs security to protect its people's life and its properties from the so-called first world countries, implementing policies causing human catastrophe. They do anything to hold the reins of power, including spying on each other, hour after hour. They're coming in the name of peace. Look on the other side, they're two-faces thieves. They make you fight against each other just to show the world how you're killing your brothers. This goes on and on for so many years. It's time you realize who really cares. It's time you make a change in your lives, uplifting your countries, your children and your wives. Do for your neighbors just the same. Let them know, one step at a time, together they will grow. It's time you make a change in your lives, uplifting your countries, your children and your wives. Do for your neighbors just the same. Let them know, one step at a time, together they will grow. Nations, open up your eyes and see who are your true enemies. It's time you wake up to reality. There's only one way to stop the brutality. Let them show you some sincerity. When they stop the psychological war in other societies, they say they're coming in the name of peace. Look on the other side, they're two-faces thieves. They make you fight against each other just to show the world how you're killing your brothers. This goes on and on for so many years. It's time you realize who really cares. It's time you make a change in your lives, uplifting your countries, your children and your wives. Do for your neighbors just the same. Let them know, one step at a time, together they will grow. It's time you make a change in your lives, uplifting your countries, your children, and your
Powerful track by Andrew Robinson. I love the little part the way him say, uplift your country, your children, and your wife. Andrew Robinson, track entitled Nation Open Your Eyes. Brother Mandingo.
Yes, very nice song, and you know, I would like a copy of that because it's a song that I would play, you know, to promote that song. Very, very good song. The lyrics as well as the singing and the overall production.
All right, and I know Andrew is listening, and what I'm going to say to Andrew, I would love you to forward the album to me so I can present it to Brother Mandingo. You know,
no
a proper copy of the album. See,
yes,
bless
yes,
up.
a proper copy. Yes, no problem. You know,
Because
very good
and it's
song.
important, Brother Mandingo, that you can tell the listeners that, you know, just do your thing right here on SFDC radio.
No,
you know.
no, I am on several radio stations every week. Several radio stations every week, you know.
Every week.
Yes, I'm on several radio stations every week. Here and in Jamaica and elsewhere, you know. Here in Britain, you know, all over. Yes, so some of the last songs as we are coming to a close now, I'd like you to play Hope and Linda, Black History, Little Roy, Tribal War, which is the original singer of Tribal War, just like old Little Roy is the original singer of Prophecy. So I'd like you to play Hope and Linda, Black History, Little Roy, Tribal War, and the Abyssinians, Bernard Collins of the Abyssinians and his brethren, and Leroy Sibbles of Eight Tones with Declaration of Rights.
All right, so let me just locate
Hope and Linda,
Hope
Black
and
History.
Linda, Black History, and I've located Hope and Linda, Black History. And one thing I can say, doing the show with Brother Mandingo, I myself am getting a musical lesson more time. Because some of these tracks I have them, but I don't really play them, and it's when Mandingo draw for them. Yes, about wait, I never good music can be have sit up on.
Yes, all right.
So right now we're going to play that track, Hope and Linda, Black History, followed by
Tribal War.
Tribal
by
War.
Little Roy, which is a message that we as Africans, you know, to cut out the infighting, you know, the divide and rule.
All right, so right now, Hope and Linda, Black History.
Black history. It's been centuries gone, we've been oppressed. And it's still going on, we can't get no rest. 400 years we've been brought here as slaves to work in the fields. And throughout those times, quite often now, the lashes of the whip. But the black history to tell, black history. What a wicked story to listen to. Black history. We've been fight down from generation to generation. We've been held and thrown in jail, and have been kept there without no bail. What a black history to tell, black history. What a wicked story to listen to. Black history. Black men have been struggling together for a very long some equal rights, but we're still struggling today. So now that the time has come when we all should live as one, we look upon our own black brothers and fire our guns. That's right, tell me, should we fight? Should we fight? Oh no, 'cause that is not right.
Yes, and that was Upton Lindo, Black History. Brother Mandingo.
That was the first recording that Upton Lindo did, which was in 1979, produced by Michael Dredd at the Control Campbell, who used to work at JBC Radio. Michael Dredd at the Control Campbell, what he innovated in Radio Land was the doing a reggae show that brought the vibes of the dancehall onto radio. That was Michael Dredd at the Control's contribution, major contribution to Radio Land. When in the 1970s in Jamaica, he brought the sound system, dancehall vibes onto a radio show. That's what he did. And he was the man that had that universal impact. David Rodigan, who came onto Capital Radio afterwards, David Rodigan, born in Hanover, Germany, he used to use Michael Dredd at the Control jingles when he was starting on Capital Radio. Michael Dredd at the Control jingles in his program, as well as he used to use Miss Gertie from Shepherd's Bush, Sir Pekin's wife, a jingle for his radio show. But of course you don't hear him talk about that because he and Michael Campbell fell out after some time. Michael Campbell, so many times the Africans who are the originators, they don't get the credit for what they originated and created. And it's the non-African imitators who get the credit and the fame, of course, from their own people. So the next song now, as I said, is Little Roy, Tribal War, which is a song to say we must have African unity and get rid of the divide and rule warfare. And then the final song, Declaration of Rights by the Abyssinians, Studio One production by the world's greatest record producer, Sir Clement Seymour Dodd.
Oh, it was happening, but it's coming more. It was happening, tribal war. We don't want no more aside. Tribal war. I know that we are the same. I give the praises the morning when I heard the people singing. It ain't God was saying. They danced to sitting up and eating coffee. One by one they take a little something. The war is over, no more war, no more war. They now see themselves in unity, celebrating the better calling. No more war, no more war, no more war. Travel war, we don't want no more Azar. No, travel war. I know that we are the same. And all we need is love, and a little
Yes, Tribal War, voice Lil Roy. Brother Mandingo, can you say a few words before we play the final track?
Yes, and as I said, Tribal War, Little Roy is the original singer and songwriter that he did for producer, his brethren Munchie Jackson from Washington Gardens, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Little Roy was living in Washington Gardens at the time also. He's the original singer and songwriter, not John Holt who did it over for Channel 1. Little Roy is also the original singer and songwriter for Prophecy, not Freddie McGregor who did it over also. So, with respect to Upton Lindo, his first song, 1979, as I said, produced by Michael Dredd at the Control Campbell, Black History. He has a new album out called My World, Your World. The title track of the album featuring Dennis Brown, Luciano, and Sly, and others. And there's a beautiful love song on it called on the brand new Upton Lindo album called My World, Your World, called Love You All Over Again. Check it out on YouTube or on iTunes. Love You All Over Again. Of course, get the album. You will have that also. Beautiful love song. And the video is one of the best videos ever. And as I said, the vinyl world in terms of sales are not the same because with download and CDs, etc., vinyl sales, even though they are improving, are still not the same because in Britain, according to the British phonographic industry, vinyl sales are just 3% of the music retail business. Only 3%. Download CDs have overtaken streaming, have made vinyl sales almost redundant. But we have the specialists, the vinyl lovers who always love vinyl. So even though vinyl sales are up, the market share for music retail for vinyl in Britain is 3%. And generally in the world, this is the same situation. In Jamaica, this is why we don't even have any pressing plants working in Jamaica again, because economically it's not feasible because not enough records are being bought in Jamaica. That's the sad reality. But we should still press records some way, somehow. But the final song is Declaration of Rights. And of course, I livicate this by the Abyssinians. Leroy Sibbles of the Heptones played bass on it, and he also sang on it with Bernard Collins of the Abyssinians. Declaration of Rights, produced by Sir Clement Seymour, the greatest record producer at 13 Brentford Road, now known as Studio One Boulevard. And remember, always listen to Mandingo, the African from Jamaica, the Garveyite, the Marcus Garveyite, on Straight to the Point on SFDC Radio. And thanks again, Brother Silver Fox, for all the sterling, the golden work that you have been doing, because we need radio stations like SFDC Radio and other radio stations that are of a African frame of mind to keep on educating our people and keeping our people informed of all relevant issues.
Brother Mandingo, radio
yes,
station need people like you and a lot more like you. And, it's only that some of our people, they become cowards. You strike the point on it when you said coward. I was at a funeral the other day, and a friend, a brethren I have known for some years, from the 70s, and he has heard me on radio stations and so on. And you know what he said to me? He said, Mandingo, because you are so outspoken, you are so militant, sometimes you are too militant. I said to him, don't tell me nonsense about being too militant. I tell it like it is, and I speak the truth. When you are a coward like you, and you don't speak the truth, you help to contribute
to the continued enslavement of our people. It's people like you are the problem. Because when you are supposed to be telling our people the truth, you are afraid. And then you are trying to tell me to be a coward like you, saying that sometimes I am too militant. I say I am not too militant. I am a revolutionary, and I tell it like it is. When you live in fear, you live in slavery. So don't tell me any nonsense.
And you know that's a sellout statement, though.
Of course, it's a totally sellout statement. These are the kind of people that the racist enemies use to keep our people in enslavement. Because if I was to follow him, I would not be educating and telling our people the things that I am telling people. He wants me to be on radio and to be quiet and to tell lies and to be silent.
And be
I have
what
no respect for cowards.
And be what they call you got to be diplomatic what?
That's not diplomacy. That's cowardness. That's it. It's not diplomacy. Diplomacy and cowardness are two completely different things. Being a diplomat and being a coward are two completely different things. And I have no respect. You know, since he said that to me, I have gone off him totally. But I'm glad that he said it to me, because it is always good to know who is who.
Yes, because
to show that somebody like him is never to be trusted.
Yes, they are the ones who do the stabbing in the back.
Precisely. Can you imagine what he has been saying behind my back?
Yes.
That I am a troublemaker and that I am making trouble.
And Brother Mandingo, let me just say this now and here. I've heard that so many times. I've heard people, and you know, I've heard it all the time. And you know what we say?
You will hear it all.
I said to someone, I rather trust my life with Brother Mandingo than the rest of them, because I saw what Brother Mandingo deal with. They might deal with our race.
Yes.
That the man I deal with, and that me love about you. Trust me.
Because you see, others like that, they are the ones who stab you in your back and sell you out for 30 pieces of silver and for even 1 piece of silver. Sell out their mothers and fathers. I have no respect for such repellent scum and cockroaches. None. I absolutely reject, denounce, and have no respect for such sellout scum, reprobates, and cockroaches.
And Andrew Robinson just typed, these are the people who are most dangerous to their own race.
Exactly. They are the enemies within, the traitors. Yes, indeed. So let us end with Declaration of Rights by the Abyssinians.
All right. And we're going to do that right now.
Yes, indeed.
from civilization brought us to slave in this big plantation, fussing and fighting among ourselves. Nothing to achieve this way, it's worse than hell, I say. Get up and fight for your right, my brother. Get up and fight for your right, my sister. Us away from civilization, brought us to slave in this big plantation, busting and fighting among ourselves. Nothing to achieve this way, it's worse than hell, I say. Get up and fight for your right, my brothers. Get up and fight for your right, my sisters. Get up and fight for your right, my brothers. Get up and fight for your right, my sisters. Get up and fight for your right.
Get up and fight for your right. And that brings close to the end of Straight to the Point until another week. So that is Straight to the Point. So right now we're going to make way for Brother Tony with his gospel segment. Brother Tony.